evening, panel.
How are you?
Not bad. Do you think that the referee was scared to give Rangers a penalty yesterday, and that's why he passed the buck over to VAR?
Well, what do you think first? What did you reckon?
I think it was looking straight at it, and I think he clearly seen it. And I was very, very surprised at the time he never gave it. Because where he was standing, he looked right at it, and I was very, very surprised he never gave it. And I think, like Barry Robson, I think he should be pulled up with the SFA to explain his comments, but he meant it the whole time.
Okay, think he was over the top.
A wee bit more upset at losing that last minute penalty to Rangers. They did 6-0 defeat to Celtic. So it was a bit of a surprise.
Okay, I'm going to throw it to the guys. I'm going to bring in George as well. We'll see what he thinks about that. Hi, George, a Rangers fan. Good evening.
How you doing, all right?
Good, George. Listen, hope you're well. What about that point? Do you think the referee left it to VAR? He saw it, but he thought...
That's exactly the voice took my thunder. That's exactly the point I was going to make. I mean, is that the stage we're at now, where the referees aren't actually refereeing the game? They're allowing it, and we've seen it. When there's offside, they let it go for a couple of seconds, and this could cause an injury. And I think yesterday, I don't know the guy's eyes, but I would say the referee looked straight at that foul yesterday. He's got to have seen it from where he was standing. I think he's got to have seen it, and I think he's let VAR deal with that now. We were always told that VAR wouldn't be refereeing the games, but that's exactly what's happening, and I think it's wrong.
Mark, do you agree? And is
well,
VAR now?
I'd need to ask Derek, because he was very specific. Derek, I'd need to ask you, why do you think Nick Walsh should be scared to give the penalty for Rangers?
I think with a recent incident that was said at the Celtic AGM, sort of I was putting pressure on the referee, and I think because of the Hearts incident as well, I think maybe he was slightly scared to give a penalty. But I don't think, and again with the Celtic game as well, I don't think penalties should be given for a slight tug of the jersey. I think that's just a nonsense. Mm-hmm. I don't think Mikey Johnson or Conor Golson, none of them are getting on the end of these balls. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a nonsense that they gave penalties for both of them.
Go well to answer the point. Going by the replays after it, when it's playing it back and it's showing you what Andrew Dallas has flagged it up for, then it does look as though Nick Walsh has got a clear line, but maybe he's not seen enough, because you need to give a penalty kick in live time as well. No, you need to be 100% sure. You can't guess. So Nick Walsh, but I think subconsciously now, referees know that they've got a backup, they've got a fallback, and I don't think it's about being scared to give a decision. I don't think Nick Walsh was scared to give a decision.
I just think he was unsure.
I just think he's been unsure. Yeah,
I was surprised he never gave it straight away.
Honestly,
but when you see the pace of the ball and the speed that players move at, it is a big ask. But I was surprised that he never gave it straight away and obviously went to VAR. And when you see it in VAR, it's a clear penalty.
Did you see the tug, Barry, when you saw it live?
Yep, you could see it.
Derek, does that answer it for you?
And the position the referee was in as well was a very good position.
Close to,
you could really see what was going on with the Aberdeen player and Golson.
In fact, before I come back to you, Derek, do you think Derek's got a good point that pressure was put on the referees by the Celtic AGM saying, "Oh, penalty to Rangers"?
Or I don't really.
Just a joke on the day.
Listen, I don't really kind of. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Like the game yesterday, I thought the Celtic penalty with the pull of the jersey, and obviously the Rangers one with Conor Golson. But Mark made a good point right at the start of the show. They need to be clear on what sort of tug they're going to give a penalty. Is it any sort of tug? What we don't know.
Mm-hmm. And there's Derek saying, look, that shouldn't have been a penalty, only in that. And same with the Mikey Johnson, because they're not going to. Conor Golson probably wasn't going to score, was he? But George, what do you think? See, from that point of view, do you think
just what Mark was saying a wee while ago there, I was under the impression that Mark will look me and a high attack back in me right enough about football, but I was under the impression that any time you pull somebody in the box, that's a penalty. I mean, if you pull somebody at the halfway line, it's a foul. So I just thought any tugging in the box, I was always under that impression. I might be wrong, but I was always under that impression that that's the way it was supposed to be, like,
Yep.
And see, in terms of blocking, that happens. That's part of set pieces. You actually work on that in the training ground. So I'm not buying into all this blocking. All that was because the Rangers player Sam Lammers blocked the Aberdeen player. No, he lost his marker, and that's the reason why he had a pull on Connor Golson.
And sort of just now that you've mentioned Sam Lammers, he should be scoring with that header.
I know.
I mean, he really should be. I mean, it's a shocker, and that's what I'm talking about. You know, I know that the penalty incident has dominated the conversation after it, but for me, the more pertinent point is about Rangers actually going to Pittodrie and winning games. And when you put, and I know they had the woodwork and they pressed Rangers, they pressed Aberdeen, but Sam Lammers, you know, he's got to bury that header. It's a fantastic cross. It's a free header. He's moving onto it, and to put it straight into the goalie's arms, you know, is really poor.